जय श्री राम। चलिए, होप आपने कल मुझे वो श्रृंग ऋषि के प्रोनाउंसिएशन के लिए माफ़ कर दिया है। आज आगे का पढ़ती हूँ। कैंटो 10। हाउ द सेज श्रृंग वॉज ल्योर्ड अवे टू द कैपिटल ऑफ रोमापद एंड मैरिड टू हिज अडॉप्टेड डॉटर शांता. Urged by the king Dashrath, Sumantra then made the following reply. Hear from me with your counselors as being exhaustively told by me how and by what device the sage Shringa was brought to the capital of Romapad by his counselors. अच्छा, तो उन्होंने ऑलरेडी उनको अपने राज्य में बुला लिया था रोमापद ने, और विवाह हो चुकी थी. Accompanied by the ministers, the family priest of Romapad spoke to Romapad as follows. The following unfailing expedient has been carefully thought of by us. Living as he does in the woods and rich in ascetics and study of the Vedas, Shringa is wholly unacquainted with the fair sex as well as with the objects of senses and the pleasures relating to them. We shall in no time cause him to be brought to your capital by means of pleasing objects of senses that attract the mind of men. Steps may therefore be taken towards this end. Let beautifully adorned courtesans of comely appearance proceed there to the hermitage of his father. Received kindly by the youthful sage, they will lure him away to this place by recourse to diverse devices. Hearing this, the king Romapad said to the priest, "So be it." The family priest in his turn forthwith instructed the counselors accordingly, and the latter did as they were told, that is, dispatched the courtesans with the necessary equipment. Foremost of the courtesans of Romapad's capital entered the extensive forest, and staying not very far from the hermitage of the sage Vibhandak in the woodland adjoining Verapura, associated with the name of Shringa, made attempts to have a look at the Rishi's son, who was full of self-control and always stayed in the hermitage. Ever contented with his father's affection and fostering care, he never stepped beyond the hermitage. Since his very birth, that hermit boy had never before seen any man or woman, for that matter, any other living being born in a town or in the countryside. Impelled by Providence, one day Shringa came out of his hermitage to the area where the courtesans were encamping, and beheld there the aforesaid lovely women, singing in a melodious strain. All the aforesaid young women, who were attired in different colors, approached Shringa and addressed to him the following question. We desire to know, O Holy One, who you are and how you get on. Pray tell us, wherefore do you roam about all alone in the remote and lonely forest? Women, as they were, whose form had never been seen by him before in that forest, and who were endowed with an exterior worth coveting, there appeared in him an urge born of natural attraction to mention the name of his father and other things too. Vibhandak is the name of my father, and I am his own son, sprung from his loins. My name is Shringa. My pursuit in the form of austerities is celebrated in this tract of land. In this very forest close by, there is the site of our hermitage. O lovely ones, there I shall certainly offer worship, hospitality to you with due ceremony. On hearing the reply of Shringa, son of sage Vibhandak, there appeared in all of them a resolve to see the site of his hermitage, and all the women accordingly departed from that place to the hermitage. Shringa, so the tradition goes, then offered worship, hospitality to them even as they arrived at his hermitage, saying, "Here is water to wash your hands, and there is water to wash your feet with, and here are roots and fruits offered to you by me." Accepting the aforesaid worship, hospitality, however, all of them actually made up their mind to return apace, ill at ease as they were, being afraid of the Rishi Vibhandak, who had gone out on some errand at this particular moment. While returning, they said, "Accept, O sage, these excellent fruits offered by us too, and eat them without delay. O Holy One, this may do you good." Closely embracing him and full of delight, they all then gave him small round sweetmeats and various kinds of other dainty dishes to eat. Even after enjoying them, the glorious sage took them for fruits alone, for they were such as had never been tasted before by those ever dwelling in the woods. Taking leave of the young Brahman and telling him of some sacred observance to be gone through by them, those women then departed under that pretext, afraid as they were of his father. When they had all left, the Brahman, Shringa, sprung from the loins of Vibhandak, a scion of the sage Kashyap, felt uneasy at heart and restless through agony. Thinking of them in his mind again and again, that powerful and glorious sage Shringa departed from that place the following day to that area where those charming courtesans had been seen by him, beautifully adorned the previous day. Going forth to meet him with delighted mind, the moment they saw the sage coming from his hermitage, they all then addressed him the following request: "Just pay a visit to our hermitage, O gentle one," and further spoke as follows: "Although roots and fruits of various kinds may be had in abundance here, this process of entertainment will surely be gone through there in our hermitage in a special degree, even as compared to this place." Hearing the prayer of them all, which was so captivating to the heart, he made up his mind to go with them, and the women took him to the capital of King Romapad in that manner in a boat on the holy Ganga. Even while the high-souled Brahman was being escorted there to the Anga territory, the god of rain sent down a shower all of a sudden at that very time, bringing great joy to all of them. Going forth to meet the ascetic Brahman who had arrived in his kingdom, synchronously with the rain, the said ruler of men bowed low to the sage and touched the ground with his head. Fully composed in mind, he offered him with due ceremony water to wash his hands with, and begged of that prince among Brahmans a boon to the effect that no wrath might enter the mind of the sage or his father for having caused the sage to be lured away to his kingdom from his father's hermitage. Having ushered him into the gynecium and duly given away with a tranquil mind to his daughter Shanta, the king experienced great joy. Duly entertained with all desired objects in this way, the said Shringa, who was possessed of unique glory, lived there in the gynecium of King Romapad with his wedded wife Shanta. Thus ends Canto 10 in the Balakand of the glorious Ramayan of Valmiki, the work of a rishi and the oldest epic. So, इस तरह से इसके साथ ही कैंटो 10 समाप्त होता है. अच्छा, दशरथ से बात करते करते सुमंत्रा ने फिर बताया कैसे श्रृंग ऋषि को उनके पिताजी के आश्रम से निकाल के वो राजा रोमापद के नगरी में वो लोग लेके गए. तो रोमापद ने फिर बोला कि हमको बड़े ध्यान से काम करना पड़ेगा. एंड वो श्रृंग ऋषि ने एक्चुअली अपने पिता के सिवा किसी भी मनुष्य को, चाहे नर हो चाहे नारी हो, कभी भी नहीं देखा था. तो रोमापद ने बोला कि एक काम करिए, हमारे जो राज्य है, मतलब सभा है, वहाँ के सबसे सुंदर और गुणी नृतक डांसर्स को, कोर्टिसन्स को राज्यसभा में का जो अपनी कलाकृति प्रस्तुत करते, उन सबको आप वहाँ पे भेज दीजिए. तो ये लोग वहाँ गए और उन्होंने ऋषि के आश्रम से कुछ दूरी में ही अपना रहने का स्थान किया. अब इन्होंने श्रृंग ऋषि ने तो कभी नहीं देखा था. एक दिन ऐसे ही वो वहाँ पे पहुँचे, उन्होंने देखा उनको और हैरानी हुई. और उनसे बातचीत हुआ। उन्होंने इनको पूछा, भाई आप कौन हो, किसके पुत्र हो, यहाँ पे क्या कर रहे हो? तो उन्होंने सब कुछ बताया कि भाई मैं ऋषि विभंदक का पुत्र हूँ, मेरा नाम श्रृंग है और मैं यहाँ पे रहता हूँ, और मैंने इतनी कठोर तपस्या की है कि मेरा मतलब मुझे ये यहाँ रहने वाले सबको पता है कि मैं मेरा ख्याति उसी के वजह से है। और फिर मतलब वो लोग फिर उनके साथ बातचीत किए, और श्रृंग ऋषि ने उनको अपने पास अपने आश्रम में बुलाया। वो लोग वहाँ गए तो उन्होंने वहाँ पे उनको हाथ धोने के लिए, पाँव धोने के लिए, पानी मुंह धोने के लिए, जैसा उनको सेवा करना है किया, और उनको फल मूल खाने दिए। मगर वो जो कोर्ट की लेडीज़ थी, सारी नारी जो थे, महिलाएं जो थी, वो लोग काफ़ी ऋषि श्रृंग से नहीं मगर उनके पिता से डरते थे। इसलिए उन्होंने जल्दी जल्दी वहाँ पे उस दिन वो ऋषि विबंधक नहीं थे, तो ये लोग जल्दी जल्दी वहाँ से वापस चले गए। और जाते जाते इन्होंने उनको बहुत सारी बोले, आप भी हमारे ये फल मूल हम आपको दे रहे, ये आप ज़रूर खाइएगा। अच्छा, ये जो था ना, ये अलग अलग टाइप के चीज़ें थे जो ऋषि जंगल में रहते हुए उन्होंने कभी खाया नहीं था। अब ये जो सब लोग चले गए तो उनका मन व्याकुल हो गया, और अगले दिन सुबह वो खुद वहाँ पे आए जहाँ पे इनसे मुलाकात हुई थी, और बातचीत हुई। तो उन्होंने बोला, आप हमारे इसमें आइए ना, आश्रम में आइए। तो उस वक्त उन्होंने क्या किया, छल से उनको नाव में बिठाया और नाव में करके राजा रोमापद के पास ले जाने लगे। उसी वक्त बारिश हुआ। अब ये राजा रोमापद को ऋषि श्रृंग क्यों चाहिए थे? क्योंकि वो चाहते थे कि वो वहाँ पे यज्ञ करे और उनका जो श्राप था वो श्राप मुक्त हो जाए उनका राज्य, और वहाँ पे बारिश हो। तो राजा रोमापद्य बहुत ही खुश हो गए कि भाई ऋषि का आगमन से ही हमारे राज्य में ये वर्षा हो गई। तो फिर उन्होंने उनको बड़े आदर से उनकी क्या बोलेंगे, वेलकम किया। वेलकम करने के बाद उन्होंने उनको बोला कि आप एक काम करिए, आप प्लीज़ हमसे नाराज़ नहीं होना। उन्होंने सब कुछ बताया कि मैंने हमने थोड़ा सा छल कपट से आपको यहाँ लेके आए, आप और आपके पिता हमको माफ़ कर दीजिए। और उन्होंने अपनी बेटी शांता से इनकी शादी करा दी। अच्छा, कैंटो 11। Urged by Sumantra, Emperor Dashrath calls on his friend King Romapad and brings with the latter's permission Shanta and Shringa to his own palace. Further, hear from me, O King of Kings, the wholesome words which the aforesaid wise seer, the foremost of all heavenly beings, was actually pleased to utter. In the line of the Ikshvakus was born a highly pious and glorious king, Dashrath by name, who will be true to his promise. Friendship will be developed by the said monarch with the ruler of the Angas, and the latter will have a highly blessed daughter, Shanta by the name, given in adoption to him by Dashrath. The ruler of the Angas, the son of King Anga, will be known by the name of Romapad, possessed of great renown. The said King Dashrath will approach the latter with the following request. Since I am without a male issue, O King, whose mind is given to piety, let the sage Shringa, the husband of Shanta, when permitted by you, perform a sacrifice for the propagation of my race. Hearing the aforesaid request of the emperor and resolving it in his mind and resolving to comply with it, the noble-minded Romapad will instantly part with the sage Shringa, the husband of Shanta, already blessed with a son. Taking with him the said Brahman, Shringa, and rid of his agony by securing his very presence, the celebrated monarch Dashrath will perform with his help and guidance the aforementioned sacrifice for being blessed with a son, with his inner mind highly gratified. Nay, the desirous of fame, King Dashrath, the ruler of men, who knows what is right, will request Shringa, the foremost among Brahmins, with folded hands to officiate as priest for conducting the sacrifice for obtaining a male progeny and securing an abode in heaven through a son. And through that jewel among the Brahmins, King Dashrath, the ruler of the people, will get that desired object. And as a result of that sacrifice, there will be born to him as many as 4 sons, possessed of immense prowess and well known among all created beings, who will bring honor to their lineage. So did that omniscient and powerful sage Sanat Kumar, the foremost among heavenly beings, utter of yore a prophecy in the Satyayug, preceding the current round of 4 yugs. As such, keen as you are to obtain a male progeny, O tiger among men, bring you the sage, highly honored with due ceremony, going personally to escort him with a detachment of your troops and animals and vehicles used for conveying men, O great king. Dashrath was rejoiced to hear the advice of Sumantra, nay, having conveyed the opinion of the charioteer to Vashishta, and on securing his consent, King Dashrath proceeded with the queens, the inmates of his gynecium, as well as his ministers, to the place where that Brahman was passing through forests and crossing streams. He gradually reached that land where Shringa, the foremost among the sages, actually lived. Reaching that place, he forthwith saw the son of Vibhandak, the foremost among the Brahmins, resplendent with as fire and seated near Romapad. With an extremely delighted mind, the king Romapad thereupon offered worship in order of seniority to the emperor, as well as those who accompanied him with particular reverence, because of the emperor being his esteemed friend. By Romapad was made known to the enlightened Rishringa his friendship with the emperor, as well as the relation in which the emperor stood with the stage, being the real father of his wife Shanta, and also how Shanta was given in adoption by the emperor to Romapad, who was issueless at the latter's request. Thereupon, Shringa honored the emperor in return for the latter's salutation. Greatly honored in this way by Romapad, and having stayed with him for 7 or 8 days, the emperor, the foremost among men, spoke to the king as follows: Let your daughter Shanta, O king, proceed along with her husband to my capital, O ruler of the people, since there is a great undertaking on foot there. Having promised the visit of that wise man Shringa with the word Amen, the king addressed the following request to the Brahman: Proceed you to Ayodhya with your wife. Hearing this, Shringa said to the king at once, So be it. Thus permitted by the king, he left with his wife for Ayodhya. Greeting with joined palms and clasping each other to their bosom, out of affection, the mighty Dashrath and Romapad both rejoiced. Taking leave of his friend, Dashrath, a scion of Raghu, then departed for his capital. While doing so, he dispatched in advance swift-footed messengers with the following instructions to the citizen of Ayodhya: Let the whole city be tastefully decorated at once, nay, sprinkled with water and then dusted, fumigated with incense and adorned with buntings. Overjoyed to hear of the king having well nigh arrived, the aforesaid king citizens therefore did at once all that precisely as had been desired by the king. Placing Shringa, the foremost of the Brahmins, ahead, the king then entered the well-decorated city in the midst of blasts of conches and the beating of kettle drums. So the tradition goes. All the citizens were really delighted at that time to see the Brahman being treated with respect and ushered into the city by the king, who had rendered help to Indra in his campaign against the demons. Even as Lord Vaman, son of sage Kashyap, was ushered into paradise by the thousand-eyed Indra, the ruler of God. Having introduced the sage into the gynecium and offering him worship according to the scriptural ordinance, Dashrath thought of himself at that time as one whose object in life had been accomplished by escorting him to his palace. Seeing the large-eyed Shanta come with her husband in that state With a babe, all the queens experienced great joy through love. Being treated with honor by them, and particularly by the king himself, she lived there happily for some time along with her husband and babe. Thus ends Canto 11 in the Balakand of the glorious Ramayan of Valmiki, the work of a rishi and the oldest epic. So इसके बाद क्या हुआ, सुमंत ने फिर राजा दशरथ को बोला कि सत्ययुग के टाइम में भविष्यवाणी हुई थी कि श्रृंग ऋषि आ जाएंगे और फिर उनकी शादी होगी रोमापद राजा के बेटी शांता से, एंड फिर वहाँ पे वो पूरा वहाँ रोमापद राजा के यहाँ पे वो अपना पूरा यज्ञ करेंगे और फिर राजा दशरथ उनसे मिलेंगे और उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि आपके यहाँ पे तो हो गया है यज्ञ, अब मेरे यहाँ इनको आने का परमिशन दे दीजिए ताकि मैं इन अश्वमेध यज्ञ अपने यहाँ करके पुत्र प्राप्त कर लूँ। रोमापद्य राजा इनके दशरथ राजा के बहुत अच्छे दोस्त थे और उन्होंने मान लिया और उन्होंने फिर श्रृंग ऋषि को बताया कि एक्चुअली अगर आप देखेंगे तो ये आपके ससुर जी है, क्योंकि मैंने उनकी बेटी को गोद लिया था, मेरे कोई संतान नहीं था, तो मैंने इनसे रिक्वेस्ट किया था और इन्होंने मुझे अपनी बेटी दे दिया था। तो और फिर दशरथ भी खुश हो गए, उन्होंने सुमंत्रा का एडवाइस लिया और वो वहाँ गए जहाँ श्रृंग ऋषि और शांता रहते थे जंगलों में, क्योंकि और वहाँ रोमापद राजा भी बैठे हुए थे। और वहाँ जाने के बाद उन्होंने फिर सारी बातें कही, राजा मान गए और दशरथ जी इन लोगों को लेके अपने नगरी अयोध्या वापस आए। अयोध्या नगरी में उनकी बहुत सत्कार हुआ और शांता का तब तक एक बच्चा भी हो गया था। तो रानियाँ तो नानी हो गए, तो बड़े खुश हुए उन्होंने। और शांता को भी बहुत अच्छा लगा, मायके आई, इतने सच का मायके तो वही था और उन्होंने उसका देखभाल किया और वो भी बड़ी खुश रही। और इस तरह से वो लोग अपने अश्वमेध यज्ञ की तैयारी करते रहे। और इसी के साथ आज का ख़त्म करती हूँ और अगले दिन कल मैं फिर आगे का पढ़ के सुनाऊंगी। जय श्री राम।